For a few weeks, I've been in this weird place. Life has been moving full speed ahead, and with the busyness, I found myself feeling a little disconnected from God. Even though I was being faithful in my morning prayer time, even in dialogue throughout the day, I felt as if I was merely going through the motions. And the worst part, God was silent. The more this realization set in, the harder I tried to focus on my words when I prayed. And yet my words felt flat, as if part of me was just numb. I tend to overthink and overfeel everything, so this feeling of numbness was very unsettling for me. Rewind a little further back to the end of January. One Sunday morning during worship, we sang a hymn. It was one I knew and had sung before, but this particular morning I remember singing the words and they sat differently with me. Over the course of the coming weeks, at random times, those words would just start up again, as if on repeat in my mind. It's funny that I find myself in the season of Lent, a time for reflection and introspection. Lately, I've been reflecting on the life of my oldest child. She's a junior in high school, and we've started looking at colleges and preparing her to take the SAT. Lily has a brilliant mind and naturally recalls details. Sometimes, to my bewilderment, over her minimal effort and procrastination on schoolwork and studies, she still manages to do well. This week, updates were posted. We learned that she's sitting with a 4.4 GPA and continues to be in the top 10% of her class, all honors and dual credit courses. Obviously, Don and I are both extremely proud. But recently, I read an article that talked about how parents today focus on athletics, education, and grades, getting their kids into highly esteemed colleges. After college, we tend to focus on their place of employment, their career choice, and earned income, criteria we use to measure their success. The article went on to state that all too often we fail to put an emphasis on the teachings of building strong character. Things like honesty, a strong moral compass, humility, kindness, compassion, empathy, and love. I remember reading the article and wondering, have I put too much focus on grades and the cleanliness of their rooms, all the while placing less focus on their character and teachings of Christianity? This past Sunday evening, Dawn and I were watching TV when I heard both our phones ping at the same time. It was a notification of a new text message from Lily. She was working at the time. Most of her earned income is from tips, and as a teenager, her money is important to her. It helps put things like put gas in her car. It allows her to eat out with her friends, buy clothes, and of course makeup. The list goes on. As I read her message though, it said, "I'm coming home with less money tonight because of a homeless man who came in with no food, so I bought him some. He's now eating outside." In that moment, the words of the hymn played again in my mind. "I, the Lord of wind and flame, I will tend the poor and lame. I will set a feast for them, my hand will save. Finest bread I will provide, till their hearts be satisfied. I will give my life to them, who shall I send? Here I am, Lord, it is I. I will hold your people in my heart." I learned in that moment that sometimes God isn't silent at all. He's weaving His words through the tapestry of our lives. Although other things have been learned, one reward was confirmation my child is growing in character of compassion, empathy, and love of others. Her time here at church, early Saturday mornings going with me to serve in outreach, years of going to Big House and Army, it's been the foundation we've been striving to give her. During the season of Lent, we're called to reflect, repent, and serve. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 8 comes to mind. Above all, love each other deeply because love covers a multitude of sin. Thank you, First Methodist, for supporting our youth with your gifts of time and financial offerings. Thank you to programming staff and volunteers for countless hours leading Sunday school, VBS, confirmation classes, and the Upper Room youth. When we open our hearts and invite Christ in and walk with others of Christian faith, God's love and blessings flow. Thanks be to God.